Hello you guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new to my channel, then this is Rimi. As I mentioned in my last Fenty concealer review video that I went to Morphe and I purchased a couple things from Morphe and I wanted to review those. So the things that I am reviewing for you guys today are Morphe Fluidity Foundation and Morphe Fluidity Concealer. They came out around the same time. I'm also reviewing their white concealer. This is also their Fluidity Concealer, but it's the pure white one. I'm going to apply this as my eyeshadow base. I already did my eyes first since I wanted to get the eyes out of the way before I can get to my foundation routine. But now I'm going to go ahead and apply the foundation and concealer for you guys. As I told you previously that I don't tend to use too much concealer all over my face. Majority of the time I only use concealers under my eye. I mean, to be honest, day-to-day basis, I don't even wear that much concealer, but when I do, I only wear them under my eye, mostly to brighten them up and just to give my under eye a little bit more coverage. I also picked up their setting spray, which I have been hearing so much good things about. I'm not going to be setting my face today just because, as you guys all know, I'm pregnant. I don't want to be spraying things around and inhaling too much of chemicals and stuff. I will update you guys on this product maybe in few months once I give birth. Also for my eye look today, which I probably will be doing a separate video for the tutorial because I do want to create a tutorial out of this look. For today's video, it's mostly going to be the foundation, the concealer, and also the eye base with the white concealer. So for my foundation, half of my face I'll be applying with a brush. The brush that I'm using today, I have no name for this brush. I have had this brush for years now. Probably I ordered it from Amazon or eBay or something like that, but I really like this brush. It's soft, it's dense. I like how it applies foundation, so I'm going to use that. For the right side of my face, I'll be using a beauty sponge. For my foundation, I'll be using a JUNO sponge. I pretty much always set my concealers under my eye. Well, I'll be only setting one side of my face and not set the other side of the face. Things that mostly I'm testing is how it sits on my face, how the finish looks, how the application goes, and in a couple hours how it looks. Right now it's 8 p.m. I probably will be wearing this foundation only for like 4 or 5 hours. If it's a long wearing foundation, I will try my best to do another wear test tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going out to mall, so I'll probably just wear that, go out to mall. Like during the day, I'll just give you guys a couple check-in to let you guys know how that went. I talked for a long time. Let's jump into the application already. For the foundation, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the foundation before I get started. This foundation comes in a squeezy tube, which is pretty convenient for traveling, but I do prefer a pump over a squeezy tube. The squeezy tube's tip of it, the foundation kind of wraps around it. That's something that I don't like about squeezy tubes. Beside that, I feel like it's not that bad. I definitely prefer this over the glass bottles that doesn't have any pump. I like the packaging, how it's simple and just like have brush stroke here with the Morphe logo, and then on the back you get the color numbers. The color that I picked was F2.80. The cardboard packaging is very misleading. The color looks way too light, and when you apply the foundation it gets darker. It does oxidize. You can see that color in the tube, but I would say that it looks a little bit lighter in the tube than what the color really is. And you get 1 fluid ounce of product in here. For a concealer, it kind of comes in this lip gloss kind of packaging with an applicator that's pretty wide and flat on both sides. I do like the concealer applicator. It's pretty easy to spread out the concealer. For the concealer, you get 0.1 fluid ounce. I think the foundation was $18 and the concealer was $9 each. I do think the price is a little up there. I think I would feel much better if it was somewhere between $12 to $14. This is supposed to be a full coverage foundation and it's supposed to have a matte finish, whereas the concealer is supposed to be a soft matte finish. I'm just going to squeeze out a little bit. Usually I measure by pump how much product I'm going to use on my face. Since this one doesn't have a pump, I'm just going to kind of eyeball the amount I think I will need. So this is the amount I'm just going to start off with. Right away, I can tell you that the color is looking a little bit light around my forehead. So I'm just going to let it set for a little bit to oxidize. With the brush application, initially it's looking streaky, but as I keep blending, it is kind of looking okay. This foundation does have a very strong smell, like a chemically strong smell, so be aware of that. I'm not very big fan of the smell. It is pretty irritating to me, but I hope the smell goes away pretty soon so I don't have to worry about keep smelling this for too long. Okay, it did give me a pretty good coverage, but I feel like it's not a full coverage. I would say that it is medium to full coverage, but not fully full coverage, but it might be buildable. So I want to put a little bit more around this area to see how it layers. Okay guys, so here is half of my face done with the foundation. I know my forehead is looking pretty light. I feel like around my cheekbones and stuff, it matches pretty well. If I bring it down my neck, it looks fine. I can make it work. And I feel like in terms of coverage, I got a pretty decent full coverage look going on. After layering a little bit, it layered just fine. It looks pretty smooth majority of the part, but I am noticing right away it's emphasizing all my smile lines right here, and also around my nose right here and under my eyes. Like all my lines are becoming more emphasized, and it's not even been that long. I just applied. It's probably not even properly set yet. I'm just going to let it set for a few minutes before I apply on the other side. Okay, so it's been about a minute and a half-ish that I applied the foundation. It's kind of set right now. It feels pretty dry. It doesn't feel too heavy. It did a little bit oxidizing, but I don't think it oxidizes as much as I was thinking it would. Maybe it will oxidize a little bit more. I don't know yet. I'm going to go ahead finish the other side using a JUNO sponge. I'm using their Dewdrop sponge for today's application, and I'm going to take about the same amount I took earlier. Earlier I did need to add a little bit more to cover my face. I would say if I was to measure in terms of a pump, that would be like a pump and a half, almost 2 pump to do my entire left side, including my neck. JUNO sponges tend to give a better coverage or a fuller coverage than other sponges. I feel like I'm getting a pretty good high coverage with this. So far I didn't add any more extra product in my hand. Whatever I took initially, and I still have some left over. I think I will be able to finish all of my right side with this much. But you guys, now that I'm applying this foundation at home, I do feel like this color is too light for me. Even the undertone doesn't look olivey enough. It's making my face look very pale. On this side, I did have to layer a little bit to get the coverage that I got, but on this side, I feel like I don't want to layer anymore because this gave me a pretty good coverage. A couple of pimple spots that I had over here is pretty much gone, so I don't see any redness. You could kind of see that this side looks a little bit darker. I don't know if you can tell on the camera, but this side does look a little bit darker and a little bit reddish than this side, so it did oxidize on this side. But I know that when I tried at the store, like one shade darker than what I got, looked way darker on me. I feel like the sponge side, the application was way faster. Both sides looks pretty smooth to me. I would say I prefer the sponge application. Did started to emphasize my smile line pretty much right away, just like my left side, but I feel like on my right side it is a little bit less than my left side as of now. Under my eye, I'm seeing all my fine lines being very emphasized already, and I didn't even apply the concealer yet. Oh my gosh, whenever I'm looking at myself in the viewfinder, I look so pale. You know, you guys, this foundation will emphasize all of your lines and everything because my neck is looking intense. Like my lines right here, they're being so emphasized. I'm going to apply the concealer now. It doesn't look like it's gonna do any brightening. I don't know, the concealer looks really red or like peachy to me. It's not brightening anything. It actually looked darker than the foundation for some reason. Trust me guys, I did try out different colors at the store and this looked like it would do a good job. I don't know what's going on with the colors now. What I have, I'll just have to make it work. So I'm just going to use the brush. That blended out pretty fast. It didn't take me too long. This seems to be making it look fairly smooth for now compared to the other side. So let's see what happens. I did get a decent coverage once I blended it out. It doesn't look too dark under my eye, or it didn't do any brightening effect or anything, which is fine with me. I don't really care for too much of brightening effect. I like a little bit brightening effect, but I'm not that picky about it. So this is good. This just matches my foundation pretty good actually once I blend it out. I didn't even set it yet. yet and it looks pretty dry already. I'm going to go ahead and do my sponge side application now. Apply with the applicator underneath my eye first. I think the peachy color also helping me kind of color correct under my eye. That's probably one of the good things about this color. Now I'm just going to use my JUNO sponge again to blend it. Okay, that blended out pretty quickly. I didn't have to fuss too much. I noticed that this side started to look a little bit darker than this side, probably because it's oxidizing as well as the foundation. Maybelline Fit Me loose powder that I always use. I'm just going to use a beauty blender to do that because I like to use beauty blender for my powder applications most of the time. So I'm going to pick up some powder and yeah, use that to set under my eye. It instantly gives like a smoothness under my eye, but yeah, that's what I like about that powder. I'm also going to use this powder to set the rest of my face as well. I'm not going to do too heavy of setting. I'm just going to set around like a couple areas that I feel like problem areas for me. Not going to set the entire face. I'm just going to do the right side, all the setting and all of that. I'm just going to do a little bit on the forehead. The side that I set looks more smoother than the side that I didn't set, but I'm just going to leave it like that. I have nowhere to go. I'm just staying home, so I don't care if it starts looking all like broken apart or whatever. That's the test that we want to do. And I'm pretty much done setting my face. I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of my face and I will come back and give you guys another update. So okay guys, I'm done with the full face makeup application now. I still feel like the foundation is making me look pretty pale, the color. So right now it's about 9:18, so it's been about maybe a little over an hour. And so far the foundation is looking pretty much the same how it looked at the beginning. I don't feel that heavy on my face anymore, so now it feels pretty light. And I have been smelling so many different things in this room that I can't tell yet that if my foundation is still having that strong smell. I feel like I can still somewhat smell it. And if you think about it, for an hour to smell this foundation, that's pretty good amount of time, especially because I'm very sensitive to scents right now and I'm not liking the smell. You can see all my lines here are very emphasized. I told you guys that started happening from the very beginning and I feel like it's worse now. Yeah, I can see foundation settling in my lines. So that's something right away I don't like. On my right side, I did set with the powder, but it's still emphasizing quite a good amount. And so are the lines on my top of my lips. Under my eye, I feel like the concealer is doing pretty good job so far. It looks really nice and smooth, especially the side that I did set. I do see my fine lines, of course. I mean, I have my lines, I'm going to see it, but I don't see too much emphasizing. There are some settling in there, but that's normal for my under eye. So I'm being a little bit more forgiving about that. For my left side though, I didn't set that side, so this side not as smooth as the other side. Feel like it's kind of moving and kind of separating a little bit there by the lines, which I'm not liking. It's only been an hour, so you definitely have to set the concealer and the foundation. After I used my bronzer and everything, I think it looks okay now. I didn't have any issue blending anything on top of my face. The only thing I did have a little bit issue on when I was doing my contouring and bronzing around my forehead, I did notice the foundation was moving a little bit over here, but that almost never happens with any of my foundations, so I was a little bit concerned about that, but it didn't move too much, so I ignored that. On my face, everywhere else, it looked fine. So far, so good. Let's see how it turns out at the end of the day. I'll be back in a bit. Hi guys, I'm back for my final check-in. It is a little over 12 a.m. right now, so I ordered this foundation for about 5 hours now. I know it's not that long of a time, but I just wanted to test it out for this 5 hours to see how that goes first. Overall, it stayed matte. That is a good thing, and it didn't make my face oily or cakey looking or anything. If you just see kind of like an overall look at my face, I think it looks pretty fresh still, but there are some cons. When I'm looking closely in the mirror, I could see some of the cons as well. Right away, I would say that when I was applying, as you could see, that the color match wasn't the greatest on my skin. Even though at store I tried multiple different colors, the lady who was helping me over there, she tried multiple different colors as well, and her and I, we both came to an agreement that this color matched my skin tone. It looked good at the store lighting, I guess, but then once I'm trying it on my full face at home, the color looked pretty light and the undertone wasn't the greatest. It was kind of pinkish. I asked my husband how did my foundation look. He said that this foundation made me look a little bit reddish. It oxidized to a more like a pink reddish undertone that I don't know if with all of these bright lights you can tell or not. I know that Morphe came out with a tons of shades for this Fluidity foundation. I found it really difficult to find my shade, honestly. The packaging was super misleading, and then the undertones and color match wasn't the greatest. Even with this huge range of colors, I couldn't find something that matched my skin tone really good. So that was a little bit difficult for me, even though I went to the store. I mean, I could imagine how difficult it will be for a person to purchase this foundation online without going to store. I'm lucky to have a Morphe store in my city, so I could go and purchase it from the store. I could try it out at the store and swatch and all of that. Even after that, the color match wasn't the greatest once I came home. I'll tell you a couple reasons why this foundation didn't work the greatest for me. First of all, my skin, as I told you guys, is combination to dry. With proper moisturizing and hydrating primer, I can still wear mattifying foundation or matte foundation just fine, and I actually like a lot of the matte foundations because they just make your face look so fresh throughout the day. They're usually long wearing. Many of them I do like the finishes. Certain foundations are a little bit extra mattifying for my skin. This foundation specifically was too drying for my skin. I could see pretty much right away as soon as I applied that it was emphasizing all my fine lines around my mouth. This foundation is making me look more aged, which I don't like. Of course, nobody want to look older than what they usually look like. Settling in my fine lines a lot, like heavier amount than I usually see. Do you see my under chin? The spottiness? Yeah, I never ever had that. Like, that's new. My forehead doesn't look too bad in terms of the fine lines. When I think about am I going to reach for this foundation on a daily basis, I'm not sure if I really feel like reaching for this foundation too much. It just didn't work for my skin type. It might work great for you if you have oilier skin. Now the concealer. The concealer worked okay. To me, I felt like the concealer price point is a good price point. $9 for that concealer. The color looked pretty good. I wanted to remind you guys that I did set one side of my face and I left the left side all alone without setting with any powder, and let me tell you, that made things very different. So my right side looks way smoother and still looking fresh under my eyes, but my left side, it's not looking the best. I'm looking more tired. The evenness of the product is not there anymore, whereas on my right side the evenness is still there. I guess I will continue to use the concealer. For the white concealer that I applied as a eyeshadow base or a primer for my eyes, I would say I do like it. For a colorful eye look, it is really beautiful because you can see the true colors and it does bring out the vibrancy in your eyeshadows. It does set pretty matte, so it doesn't really crease. I will continue to use that and I really enjoyed it. Overall, that's all the thoughts that I got. I hope you guys enjoyed this review and found this review helpful. I was really excited to try this foundation and I'm glad I did. And yeah, let me know in the comments below what are your thoughts, or just say hi. I would love to chat with you guys. Thank you so much for stopping by, you guys. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, go ahead, hit that subscribe button and the bell button next to it so that you can get notified every time I upload a new video. And make sure to check my other videos as well, and follow me on Instagram and Snapchat. I'll leave all those social media links down below in the description box as well, along with all the products that I reviewed, all of their details. That will be it. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.